tadi dikatakan panjang lebar menceritakan mengenai Feast of Trumpet, dan itu ada satu jenis yang tidak terungkap tanggal persisnya. Dan di situ dikatakan itu mengacu kepada munculnya bulan baru, new moon. Nah, apakah dalam hal associate ini, dan ini satu hal yang banyak pertanyaan oleh orang, memang seringkali berbicara tentang end time, akhir zaman, itu selalu ada yang mengatakan bahwa anak tidak tahu, malaikat pun tidak, tapi hanya Bapa. Nah, sekarang dengan background adanya trompet, perayaan trompet ini, yang mengacu satu-satunya yang tidak tercantum tanggal persisnya itu, karena mengacu kepada new moon, mungkin tolong tanyakan dengan background itu, apakah itu karena astronomik punya masalah, bahwa new moon itu posisinya keluarnya itu hanya bisa ditentukan pada saat tertentu itu, tidak diketahui sebelumnya, atau hal yang lain? Bagaimana untuk menanyakan hal itu? Ya.
Okay, you said that the Feast of the Trumpets refers, it marks the beginning of a new moon. But still, it is a day, it's a hidden day, the day when no one knows the hour, no one knows the day. Why is it not still known? Why is it still not known? Is it because of astronomically we cannot determine when it's the new moon, or is there something else?
Okay. In prophecy, in the appointed feast days, because it was tied to Israel's natural calendar, they would always know once that day came. But in the fulfillment, we're talking about the divine prophetic fulfillment. And so the divine prophetic fulfillment is not tied to a calendar per se. For example, we have the scripture that says, Christ our Passover has been sacrificed for us. We know that he died on the 14th of the first month. However, in 1 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 7, when it talks about the Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread would take place for 7 days thereafter. But Paul tells the church to keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which means that that feast was not tied to 7 days like it was under the festal calendar. See, those were types and shadows. Now, the other is, what about Noah's day? Jesus used the example of Noah to talk about those who did not know the day or the hour. He said, just as it was in the days of Noah, they were eating, they were drinking, they were marrying and giving in marriage, and did not know until the flood came and took them all away. So there was another day in scripture. Same thing happened with Lot. We've had a couple of examples where the wicked did not know the day or the hour, but God did reveal to Noah at the last week that it's going to happen in 7 days. However, the point being, we know when the temple fell, we understand the war upon Israel. That entire period was the Feast of Trumpets. So you could say, yes, we do know the day and the hour now that it's past, because it was that war that lasted for 3.5 years when Jerusalem was destroyed. We know that it happened in the first century generation. And so that's the part that we do know. Now, to say that it's tied to one new moon would not be accurate, but it was tied to the fall of the temple. That's what Jesus related it to. And that war of destruction took place over 3.5 years in the first century.
Oke, jadi kalau saya simpulkan tadi Pak Wilson, jadi memang ada hari-hari perayaan yang memang tanggalnya dikaitkan dengan penanggalan bangsa Israel. Ya, Tapi ada satu nubuatan, tidak semua, tapi ada satu nubuatan yang pemenuhan nubuatan itu tidak selalu merujuk pada tanggal-tanggal kalender Israel. Itu kenapa dikatakan bahwa itu pada waktu itu ya tidak diketahui kapan dan waktunya, karena khusus untuk hari peniupan sangkakala itu memang tidak dikaitkan tanggal persisnya dengan hari-hari perayaan menurut sistem kalendernya orang Israel. Tapi sekarang, sekali lagi ini perspektif dari Pastor William, kita tahu bahwa itu sudah digenapi, yaitu ketika bait suci runtuh. Jadi sebetulnya sekarang kita tahu itu sudah digenapi sebetulnya hari-hari penghakiman itu, hari peniupan sangkakala itu, yaitu ketika kemah bait suci diruntuhkan. Itu Pak Wilson.
Iya. Jadi tertulisnya dengan tidak diketahui itu karena pada saat itu masih mengacu dengan tradisi-tradisi mereka itu, gitu.
Yes, exactly, Pak Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's another text in Matthew 16, 27 and 28 that says, "For the Son of Man is about to come in the glory of his Father with the holy angels, and then he will reward each according to his works. Assuredly, I say to you, there are some standing here who will not die until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom." So Jesus promised people who were living at the time he stated those words that they would not experience physical death until he came. Now, all of them are now dead. So we have to conclude that he did come before all of them died, and that would place his coming in the first century.
Oke, jadi Pastor William merujuk lagi pada Matius pasal 16 ayat 27-28. Saya bacakan. "Sebab anak manusia akan datang dalam kemuliaan Bapanya diiringi malaikat-malaikatnya pada waktu itu, ia akan membalas setiap orang menurut perbuatannya." Ayat 28 ini kuncinya. "Aku berkata kepadamu, sesungguhnya di antara orang hadir di sini," maksudnya hadir waktu Yesus ngomong ini, gitu ya, ada yang tidak akan mati sebelum mereka melihat anak manusia datang sebagai raja dalam kerajaannya. Kita sama-sama tahu bahwa orang-orang yang hadir pada waktu Yesus khotbah Matius 16, 27-28 ini sudah mati. Berarti kesimpulannya, Yesus sudah datang sebagai anak manusia, sudah datang sebagai raja dalam kerajaannya. Karena orang-orang yang mendengarkan khotbah Yesus di Matius 16, 27-28 ini sudah mati semua. Padahal Yesus sudah ngomong, nggak ada orang, satupun dari kamu akan mati sebelum anak manusia datang sebagai raja dalam kerajaannya. Gitu.